Away, evil one! Away!
In his house in Relia, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming.
You ever played D&D before?
No.
What kind of character do you play?
I play a cultist.
But you are a cultist.
I'm growing gills. Gills! My transformation into a deep one has finally begun. Father Dagon be praised.
Rob, we don't see any gills.
The coffee-drinking cultists who meet under the pavilion. I can bring them to you.
Did you not bring them to me within 3 days? Then you're back on the menu. Got it?
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
It's the cultists of the Yellow King. We're being infiltrated.
I need a spell to kill Steve.
That escalated.
Kill, kill, kill!
What happened? They'll fall fast asleep, and I'll take them to the cult of Shub.
Were you trying to slip us a Mickey?
As soon as I learn this spell, you are done for.
It's like Twilight, but with a fish.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? I think we're going to have a very interesting episode today. Also, kind of a potpourri thing, because I had two things to do with you today, because I wanted to talk a little bit more about ritual, because based on our discussion yesterday or 2 days ago, I had some more information that I wanted to share as far as the playtest goes and my thinking. But I also wanted to go over and do producer's commentary on Season 1, Episode 6 of The Cultists, because I've never gotten to record those. And so I thought, well, we might as well do it live, kind of like in the format where we've been doing the discussion about Season 2 on the after parties on Friday nights. Everybody got your favorite drink today? I've got coffee. Take a sip with us. So I was going to talk about those two things today, but I just found out that there is this free convention going on that's being run by Brian Colin, who I talked about when we were looking at the Mork Borg book yesterday, and who I've interviewed for the channel, because he was the one who was creating Vast Grim, and I said we were going to look at this RPG, but I wanted to look at Mork Borg first. Well, there is a Wormfest free online convention going on this weekend, so still going on today, and I was in there. He sent me the link. I didn't understand online conventions. So I told Brian, I was like, you're gonna have to tell me what this is all about. Well, he sent me a link earlier this morning, and I went and I wandered around the convention, and I want to do that with you, because I think this is something that we could use as part of our online community. So those are basically the three things that we're going to talk about today. Then we'll take care of our life improvement at the end here. Worry about what type, look at what, not worry. Why are we worried? We're not worried. We will take a look at what big rocks we can accomplish today, so we will have a good day and report back at the end of the night. So, but first of all, let's go ahead and go to the morning messages. Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, The Cultists Season 2, Episode 6 is going to premiere. It's called Power Word Kill. There are only 10 episodes in the second season. This is already episode number 6. It'll premiere here at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Everybody can hang out in the chats. I'll be here. The director will be here as well. So we'll all be able to watch the show. If you don't know the show The Cultists already, it's our comedy web show about modern-day Lovecraftian cultists who are just trying to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand. It's kind of a mockumentary-style show. And I would love to have you for the premiere of that episode at 7:30. And then immediately after that, we will switch over to the live after party. I'm the creator, the co-writer, and the producer of the show, but I will be live with Brianna De Silva. She is the co-writer and the director of the show, so we'll be talking about some behind-the-scenes things about the show, having a good time talking about related things, and we'll have a tabletop-related giveaway. I like to do one of those every Friday. This Friday, I'm going to be giving away a dice tray. I'm not sure what art there's going to be, but here's an example. They are handmade dice trays. We made these down in my workshop. This is one that I made with different people who have been part of the Raven Key production effort, so I still have some left, and one of those will be given away on the live stream, so be there. Enjoy, hang out with everybody, and also potentially win a dice tray. If you don't know the Cultists and you want to get caught up, if you come over to my YouTube channel, the best way to do that is to go to one of the playlists. I try to organize everything on the YouTube channel by a playlist, and if you just scroll down, here is the Season 2 playlist. You can click Play All and go all the way through the playlist, or right below it, there is a Season 1 right there. So you can click there and go all the way through Season 1 as well, and that'll get you caught up on all of the every episode's like 5 to 7 minutes long. There are 10 episodes in the first season, 10 episodes in the second season. So if you watch those and you enjoyed them, please do like the videos and leave a comment. I read them all. So coming up soon, however, is Ritual. This is the Cthulhu Cultist party game of spellcasting and betrayal. This is the game that we designed to go along with the Cultists. We'd really like to be able to do Season 3 of the Cultists. The scripts of that has already been written, and so what we did is we created a board game, a social deduction party game to go along with the Cultists, and we called it Ritual. You can see here we've even got miniatures of all of the different Cultists on here. So if you go over here to Game Found, you can see more information about what the game is. You can even follow it right here and get updates. Updates before the campaign even goes live. That's a nice thing about Game Found, and then we'll be launching soon. I don't have a date yet, but we'll be launching soon. You can come here and you can check out the trailer for the game, look at the miniatures. If you click that follow button, then you will get a Rob, High Priest of Dagon in combat pose miniature if you then later come and back the game. So if you'd like to join the play test, you can see how to play right here. This is our basics on how to play. But if you would like to join the play tests and get access to a special advanced copy of the rules. Also, I'll send out a Discord server invite to all of the playtesters and so forth. You can click that link. You'll just go to a playtest request form, and you can get in there. I've had over 700 people already sign up, so I would love to have you as part of that as well. Also, Terra Tiles are in pre-order right now. I am reprinting Terra Tiles. This is my tabletop terrain system that I designed with my brother several years ago. It's been out of print. I'm bringing it back into print. Terra Tiles are large, thick, and durable hexagons that are designed to put out on your gaming table to lay out battlefields fast, whether you're trying to do war games or skirmish games or RPGs. Great for different games, especially that use zones for determining movement. Check those out. There are a whole bunch of different videos on Terra Tiles on this channel. I also used Terra Tiles to create a fully three-dimensional, hexagonal, modular terrain system for my gaming room. I always wanted a terrain system that fit together really well for the table, for the large-size miniatures like we use for skirmish games or RPGs or even war games like Warhammer or something like that. So I was able to use Terra Tiles to create a table for that in about a day's worth of work. I mean, it wasn't all that much effort if you wanted to go the extra step and try to get some three dimensions in there. I put up a whole video on YouTube, a whole video series actually, about how to do exactly that. So if you want a box of Terra Tiles, they're going to be very limited in number, and if you want one of the boxes to have your name on it, you need to do a pre-order through ravenkeep.net. All right, that's what's going on right now. Let's get to the main topic. All right, so I got to update the messages because obviously we're doing episode 7 this Friday, and I'm not sure what the giveaway is going to be. I'm going to have a giveaway this Friday night. We gave away that dice tray last Friday night. So, I mean, I got more dice trays to give away, but I've got some other things as well. We will see. I did order more of the Call of Cthulhu RPG to give away. So I'm going to give that away one Friday night as well. But that might be a good thing to conclude season 2 of the Cultists with. So that's going on there. You know, I want the morning messages to be important and useful. You know, this is still experimental, so I think we need a section for kind of the morning messages that we can go through. And I did have somebody reach out to me about potentially sponsoring what we're doing here, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm sort of just was talking to them. I was saying that, well, I'm still kind of working on an experimental thing right here. I don't quite have my format down, you know, all of that, but let's talk about that, you know, in another week or two or something like that. So if we have sponsors or things like that, I think the morning messages would be a good place for sponsorships. And that would be incredible if we were able to continue this, because some good people in the gaming community, you know, want to sponsor what we're doing here in the morning and in the evenings, perhaps. So that's going on. So everybody, we should take another breath. The breaths help me because I get wind up and keyed up here. And if I breathe and sip, I think the whole stream goes faster. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I kind of like the 1 hour kind of, you know, maybe an 8-minute wind up with an introduction and then the morning messages and then that gives us like 50 minutes for the main topic, something like that. And then, 10 minutes at the end to improve our life with what we're talking about. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but because I don't want it to run too far into other things that we are trying to get done. But we'll see. That's why this is all experimental right now. Okay, so the first thing, this is, like I said, this just came up this morning. So I put a link in the chat. Let me put it in here again. Oh, wrong link. My friend Brian Colin, who is well, yeah, we'll see. I would like the morning messages. I was trying to come up with a good length for the morning messages, so I would like for both sponsors, if there were two, to be able to fit within what I'm doing, and then also sponsorships if there are some within the morning messages time link. We'll see. That's one of the reasons I put that in there. Trying to get started. Well, if we did morning messages, how long should that be? Because I don't want it to go forever and ever. But and I want to be able to update it easier. So we'll see. We'll see. You're here for the creative process. So I just dropped the link to this free convention that's going on online. It's being run by Brian Colin. He's a friend of mine. He is the guy who I interviewed on this channel, and he's the guy who wrote Vast Grim. Now, actually, with Ross Brandt, and I don't know him, but Brian Colin, I found their names on the back here, right here, on the spine rather. So this is a Mork Borg compatible RPG. We're going to take a look at this in some dedicated stream, and I'll tell him when he does that, and maybe he can be in the chat with us. But he set up a whole online convention based on that. And let's say, so he sent me a link to it. That's the link. I sent you a link to like the web page for about the convention. I mean, it looks really cool. This guy's really cool art on there with in this Mork Borg style art, except for Vast Grim is sci-fi. But he sent me an access link, and I was in there this morning. Now, this may not work because the law of public demonstrations, that when you're trying to demonstrate something, it doesn't work. But let me move my screen around so I can get there. So he sent this to me. Oh, come on. Like, getting the layout right here. There we go. Okay. So this is actually the online convention. He's using this app that's called like Gather or Town Builder or something like that to create. He created this online Vast Grim starship. Right? Okay, so I should be back here. So I was muted. So I'm walking around the convention room. I was just thinking about online conventions being something like, well, what we're doing here, live streams and stuff. This could be really meta, being that we're in the online convention, but we're also here on the morning grind. But I can walk around here, and of course I got the schedule and the map over here. And most of the time, if you hit X to interact with something, like I can check out the whole map of the starship and what's going on. He's got an art show, a vendor's hall, a hall A. That's the place for panels and stuff. And then we've got lounge, and he's got gaming tables that you can go to as well. So as you're walking around, now there aren't as many people right here. Actually, I think a panel is going on right now. But if you're walking up to people, then actually what happens is they appear, their audio and microphone and visual appear up at the top. So it's just like if you walk up to somebody, it kind of fades in, and then you can hear what they're saying. And then if you walk away from them, they fade out. So if you want to talk to somebody, you can walk up to them, and then all of a sudden they're there. You can also hit ghost mode, so you can walk around without being seen. But that was cool. That was cool. Brian and I were doing that. So, as I'd walk up to him, I would start to hear him. And then as I'd walk away, I wouldn't. So the bridge, I'm not sure what goes on in the command center here in the bridge, but we've got gaming rooms. So this is supposed to be set up so that if you go to one of these tables and then you take a seat, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure how to interact, but there should actually be seats. So if I sit down, now we've got a marker board, and everybody at the table would be up at the top. And this would be a way that we could sit down and play. And this might be a really cool way to do like theater of the mind kinds of RPGs, especially like we're talking about, online play. games that don't require shuffling around a whole lot of miniatures. Maybe you could. Maybe there's a way to do it in here. But games like Fate, games like the Cortex system, where we're talking about sticky notes and RPGs, or we're talking about like aspects and things like this. We could say on fire. So here's our aspects or our conditions or whatever for the room. It might be a really cool way to do it. Hopefully they don't mind me doing this. Have you ever seen anything like this before? I hadn't. Innerlight says, kind of interesting. Reminds me of the early 2000 online communities. Yeah, kind of does. And of course, I think you can use all different kinds of graphics and things like this. He clearly spent a lot of time setting this up. So, what I was saying earlier, yesterday night, was that, I need to get away from the computer, which is why I'm focusing on deliberate active recreation to actually go out and burn calories. But, I do love my computer. There's so much that can be done at the computer. And it seems like so many times when I'm saying, well, I should really be doing this. Well, I could go out and do it. But you know what? It's easier to do it at the computer. And that's great because technology is increasing. There's more stuff that we can do easier here at the computer than ever before. And that's one of the things that we probably like about tabletop games, is that we could do tabletop gaming away from the computer. It takes us away from the screen. We're actually sitting there with friends and family, at a table. So that's probably preferable, but it's difficult to get together. We probably don't play as many games as we would like to play all together. And of course, you've got to drive, whatever. There might be distance issues. So here again, the tabletop games, well, it might be easier to do that in an online environment at the computer. Well, it probably is. At least that makes things happen. And so I'm thinking about that in terms of an online community, and I'm going to be looking at Tabletop Simulator, building out stuff for Ritual. So there is that. So we can hang out online because this is an online community. I mean, it would be great for things to, tabletop games, to take the games and put them at the table. But you know what? If you don't have somebody to play with at the table, we should probably make this an area where you can hang out and do our activities even online, even though you got to make sure you get outside other times, right? You got to make sure you're active and getting outside other times. Can't just sit at the screen. But this might be a really good way to do that. So I can walk around more gaming rooms down here, lounge. How do I sit? There's probably some buttons where like I could sit down or something. I don't know. Again, it kind of gets me excited. I'm really glad that I've started these streams and had these conversations and been talking to people, because like I said, I've just been sitting here at my computer, and we should be able to do more stuff. Computers should enable us. So let's go over here.
Be punctured, jaws are going to be ripped out, tracheas are going to be, nowhere to be found. And it's going to be something.
That was kind of funny. Did you hear that? We walked into the discussion hall and people were talking about jaws being ripped out. So I don't want to like talk while I'm in there, but that's a pretty cool feature.
These are dead is just as full and true as the player's shock at the same thing. And when in the converse side, when the whole group,
I feel like I'm the media walking around here. Let's go into the vendors hall. So let's see.
Work thing. And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, if you're doing that, I'm gonna drive down and see you. Nice. Hello, sir. What's up, Pete?
Hi.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, good to see you, Alan. Hi, Ted.
Hello,
I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm actually live on a show called Morning Grind, and I was showing everybody the virtual convention, because this is cool. I didn't know about it until this morning and how cool it is.
Well, good morning, everybody on the Morning Grind. Hey, everybody on the Morning Grind.
Okay, I'll leave you to your conversation, but I wanted to say hi.
You want to, or all right, we'll see you around.
Yeah, I'll see you around. I'll see you around. Did you hear that? Were you able to hear what they said? This is pretty cool. So we got other vendors. That's generally where Alan is. So I suppose if you're a vendor, you saw Alan. He's another friend of mine. Used to hang out with him at Gen Con. So anyway, kind of like playing a video game down here at the art show. Okay, well, I'm going to get out of that. But Was that cool? Was that cool? I kind of thought it was. Oh, okay. We got confirmation that you could hear them. So, and I didn't like have permission to, I told them we were live streaming when we walked up. So I didn't want to, publicize any private conversations or anything like that. But I think that's cool. I think that's something that we could potentially use. So you might want to try to get in on Wormfest today. I might try walking around this afternoon. I don't know. I got some other things to do. But I'm keeping that in mind. Virtual convention like that, I think that's a pretty cool idea. I do. That could be a great way to put together a community. Okay. So that was serendipitous, fortuitous. I like that. Brian, so that was Brian who showed up right there. He was the creator of that RPG. Weren't you a part of Infinite Black, or did you just write something for them? I was the co-founder of Infinite Black. Yep, I was the co-founder of Infinite Black. David and I put it together, but I have not been with Infinite Black for about 2 years now. So, yep, David and I ran Infinite Black for 3 years, something like that, about 3 years. Yep, and then I cut out to do my own thing and create other things. But, yep, I was. That's why you can't see them. I got all the Elder Dice up there. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about next was ritual. So let me get auxiliary camera. Man, we are getting so fancy here. But I want to... There we go. So we were talking about ritual and this social deduction game. And we were coming up with really the linchpin of the game. Let me start over. We were talking about ritual yesterday, and we were saying that really the linchpin of designing this social deduction game is making the casting cards get right. And so I was trying to, based on our conversation the other day, sit here and think, all right, what are the key points of this, and what are we trying to do, and then which variation is the one that ultimately tries to do that in the easiest way. So when I was designing the game, I kind of thought there were 2 bullet points that were that really were important. And so the one of them is that the yellow agents my thinking was can always we'll say foul up a ritual if they want. Okay. That means if they successfully get onto the casting team, they need the ability to be able to foul it up. And I suppose we should say secretly, with plausible deniability, because you want people to be able to try to figure that out. We don't want it to be always something that they expose themselves when they do. Over here, the other thing is that I was thinking I would like for loyal cultists to potentially be able to foul up the ritual. And this has to do with what I was thinking was the theme of the game being based on the cultists, right? Because, they're incompetent. So incompetence. Right? This is the most important. This is priority number 1. I would give this up here if I need to, because sometimes they end up in conflict. Right here, the ability to foul up, because I was thinking that one of the things that could give the agents of the yellow plausible deniability is that you could foul up, is that if the loyal cultist could foul up, then you don't know that an enemy is in your midst, right? So we talked about, so I'm willing to give that one up though, okay? And so I was also trying to think about so what happens when you're playing the casting cards and the leader turns them over? What if you get all yabba zabba da, which is all yeses? Well, what happens? You've got, or what could have happened there? What could have happened? All cultists, all loyal cultists That's a possibility. Or it could be one or more agents, right? Because the agents could play Yabba Zabba Da, right? And what we were trying to do is come up with the best mechanic to distribute the casting cards. These by far the simplest, and I think we actually considered this option C in the rule book. So I'm going to put option C right here, is everyone starts with, I believe it's 3 failure cards and then 5 success cards. And we don't go through the distribution of the cards, right? Because then you could always foul it up. That does get that. That one checks that. And if I say that's my most important one, then giving everybody the cards that they need to either be successful or failure does that. It does not do this, right? Because now the loyal cultists never foul things up. I'm beginning to think that just giving up on number 2 here is the best thing to do because it's simpler. Because every other option that we have, if option A in the playtest and option B in the playtest has to do with the manipulation of the deck, trying to create some type of casting deck. And when we were playtesting physically, the leader often messed that up, looked at the wrong card or something like that. And so that I don't want that, because I don't want you to mess up the actual distribution of the cards, because I don't want you to be focused on that. Hunter is here. Good morning, Hunter. Great to see you. Good morning. So I don't want the leader, the assembling of the ritual cards to be so complicated that the leader is screwing it up, right? So this eliminates that. And any of the opportunities or any of the situations where you are randomizing the cards that go out to the players violates this. Because if it's random, even if you are controlling the distribution of your casting deck, even if you're controlling for that, then it's still possible that, hey, we have a yellow agent on the casting team, but the yellow agent isn't able to foul it up because they get 2 Yabba Zabba Da cards and have no choice but to play one. And that seems completely reversed to what we are trying to do with this game ritual here. So, in fact, it's the inverse of this. The agents of the yellow should not be incompetent. They should be able to execute what they are trying to do every time. Every time. It's okay if the cultists don't. So that's why I'm kind of leaning toward option C, and I think we should do more play testing with option C. So Inner Light says here, how about a card trading mechanic? Before the ritual, maybe players can trade ritual cards or offer to. The yellow agents could know each other, so they could get more foul up cards that way. But you'd only be trading with other yellow agents. And if you get somebody, like if you say, hey, I'm not sure that works. Because if you trade with somebody else who is a cross team, then they would know you were trying to get what you were trying to get rid of. I don't think that would work. I'll think on it, though. Inner Light says, speaking of leader screw up, can I ask the players so far who has won more often, cultists or yellow agents? I think we were close. I want to say we were close to 50-50. That seems like something we should have recorded, and maybe we did. I've got playtest reports from people who have sent stuff to me, and I'll have to look at that. But I think we were kind of close to 50-50, but we played with a variety of different mechanics when we were trying to assemble the casting cards. So that was going on. And we didn't have the right distribution, and we were trying to do that. We didn't have the right distribution of success and failure cards. So, and we spent a lot of time, my brother and I were looking at that, and we're like, if you're going to randomize this, you can influence the results by having more Yabba Zabba Da cards or whatever else. hopefully I'm not involved in. Hopefully I'm not sitting here in the convention hall doing that. Okay. So what I was saying is this right here, if you get all Y, that could be all loyal cultists, or it could be one or more agents, which is what you want, right? If you get, one no, right, which is another option, a failure card. Well, what do we know here? If you're using option C, then we know there is one or more agent. So that's what you know if you get here. There may be one or more agents if you go yes, but there's definitely one if you get one no. Or if you get two no's, you've got two or more agents in there. That's a reason why the agents may want to try to come up with some type of secret language to make sure they're not playing, two no cards. That could be a big part of that. So here, when you get all yes, though, okay, that does move you to victory conditions as the cultists, right? That moves you toward victory conditions, but it does so with uncertainty. This moves the cultists toward failure conditions, but with less uncertainty about what happened, right? If we're using either option A or option B in the playtest rules, then when you are here, you've got two different options. But if you go to no, there may be one or more agents, or you may have cultist foul up, right? And that may be too much. That may be too much to have indecision here and indecision here, right? Because we've talked about when we're doing game design before, what is it that we want the cultists to focus on, or the cultists, the players to focus on? Got cultists on the brain here. In any game design, what do we want the players to be focusing on, and where do we want them to be spending their mental energy? And we don't want to say everywhere. So maybe we want our players to be spending our analytical energy in this situation and not also having to work so much down in this situation. So it may be that what I need to give up, that giving up number 2 here is the thing to do. That might simplify the game. The game analytically. It would also simplify the cards so that there isn't a mess up of the actual game rules when the leader is doing this, because the leader also changes. It does both of those things with giving up the second one while preserving my primary goal. So that may be the thing to do. That may be it. By the way, another thing that we talk about, the leader changing, method for leader changing. Right now, I just have it rotating around. But I think that needs to be another playtest part, method for leader change, because I realized in large groups, because I haven't played it with 10 yet, but we could if we could do it online. So I'm getting increasingly excited about that. If we did that, then if we had 10 people, we know there are only going to be 7 rituals or spells tried to cast, right? So that means if you're just going around the table, so that means that a table full of 10, 3 people will never be the leader. That's just the way it's going to be. But if you randomly choose somebody and then you spin the leader around the table, well, then you know who's never going to be the leader. You know when you start the game, you're never going to be able to get to be the leader if you're sitting on the wrong side of the person randomly chosen. That seems to be something to fix as well. So how can we have a method that is easy to choose the next leader? I mean, we could say voting on one. There's already voting to form the casting team, but and I don't want a person to be the leader twice. You need to be able to rotate leader. It's got to go to that. So maybe what's another method we could use to change the leader? Maybe the leader has to be on the casting team. That would, you pass it to the next person to the left or to the right or whatever it is going around the table, but that person had to be part of the casting team. And that would skip over some people and put new people in the rotation. That would be one that would do it without having to do this. Secret Hitler has a combination of rotating and voting. Yeah, do you rotate and then... Yeah, one of the things, like the president, does the president rotate and then nominates a chancellor and then you vote on the chancellor or something like that. So you could rotate and then vote. But the core part of the game is assembling the casting team. So I feel like voting on the casting team is the big deal. Maybe rotating to a new leader that had to be on the casting team. That would make it unclear who was going to be the leader this time. Because actually, you are voting on the leader. Well, no, you're not. Because only the ritualists, only the people involved in the casting the spell are voting on the casting team. So it's actually not it's not a referendum on the leader. It's an internal referendum on the team the leader has chosen. All right. But anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. I'm going to put together the next version of the rules with all of these. I was working on that during my core creative time a couple of days ago. So I'm going to work on getting that out. Discord invites will go out when that happens. And then also it would be great if Tabletop Simulator works. A disadvantage of Tabletop Simulator is it's paid. So in order to play on it, you'd have to have Tabletop Simulator. But maybe I'm just behind the times. Maybe everybody has Tabletop Simulator like this who's doing these kinds of things but me. So maybe I just need to get on board and get that done. So, all right. Another idea here. Maybe the current leader can nominate a new one from among those on the casting team. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not just a rotation. Maybe it's a nomination. Maybe it's a nomination. Like you're going to be it. It could be anybody. That gives the leader more power, because a disadvantage of this option C is that we are decreasing the leader's power. It's powerful to be able to assemble the casting team, but using option A or option B, I was also trying to give the leader some additional information about the casting cards. So that goes away, but the leader may already be powerful enough. And if the leader doesn't have to rotate, but can choose the next leader, then that might be the thing to do. And then you could either have an election, or you could just specify that person's it. Okay, so I'm going to work on that and put this out, and we're going to get going on that. So the next, in the amount of time that we have, I want to do a producer's commentary on episode 6 of season 1. Can you hear the heater that I've got running beneath this? It's a little bit cold in my office today, and so I had a little heater going on in the office. I'm going to turn it off to record this video. Let me bring this down. But I am just wondering if you hear white noise in the background here. But I'm going to turn off this heater. Just one second. Oh, can't hear it? Okay, well, that's good to know. So I can run it. I was hoping you couldn't. So that would be nice if I need a little bit extra heat in the mornings or the evenings. I'm not actually disrupting the live stream. All right, that's good. All right, I'm going to talk about the Cultists. And if you have questions, of course, or comments, as always, put those in. I've got a lot of clipping of YouTube videos to do as well. I want to clip some of the Friday night after party, because I really want to put out as individual things, because people could be looking for Sky's commentary on how he created the theme song. A lot of people have asked in the comments, showing him what it was like when he was going to get ritual and he was going to have his own miniature. That was great, and I want to be able to put those out. So, all right, everybody, we should sip and we should breathe. All right. What is that for a layout? All right, here we go. This bathroom is actually the bathroom that is upstairs at the bed and breakfast that we rented, the Airbnb that we rented for to be Mike's house. So this was upstairs. We used a lot of rooms in that house as a whole bunch of different people's bedrooms and obviously the living rooms and everything like that. The shock there with that fish. Of course, we were talking about the amount of effort that Rob must have gone to when he was had these camera crews following around in this mockumentary style, because obviously reenacting his dream like that was a lot. But that's kind of the way that Rob is, right? He would want to he'd want to go the length, and also reenacting himself in the bed right here. So he went and got that skeletal fish. The skeletal fish is someplace. It might be in there. I should be able to pull out the skeletal fish sometime. That seems like something that should go in the cultist prop box in the kitchen. And of course, we also get that Rob sleeps with his fish.
Fortunately, my fish was safe and sound.
Whoa. I've never had a nightmare like that. What do you think it means? I think someone's trying to mind control you.
Wait, you don't mean...
I do.
Now here, we've got something special in this scene, actually. If you take a look at the things in this scene, I've got a prop from the True Detective. True Detective is in here, and I was very proud of that. It kind of gives a nod to one of my other favorite shows, and actually, that could be one of my favorite television shows ever. I love watching that show. So we want to put a nod in here, and also, it's unclear whether or not the Yellow King is also actually out there.
That night at the graveyard, you said you saw the yellow sign.
You think the cult of the Yellow King is here?
Who's the Yellow King? And what's the yellow sign?
He is a king who even emperors worship, ruling from dark and lost Carcosa. The ultimate gift his cultists can give him is a city. And what city would be a brighter jewel in the crown of the Yellow King than our own great town?
I hope that line comes off. I think it does. I think Dax did a great job delivering it. But, you know, another one of these things, what kind of great city would be a really great one for the Yellow King to have? Our town. That doesn't make sense, Rob.
His cultists mark their victims for mental torment with a yellow sign.
Oh.
Look! It's a yellow sign.
No.
If you want to see the sign, you might have to freeze frame that.
It's just a church flyer.
But it's yellow, and it's a sign.
You'll know when you see it. Keep your eyes peeled. Their agents could be anywhere.
There is Kimbrel. She was the production assistant, because we actually did see her in a previous video. I believe, or a previous episode. I believe season 2. She played one of the strangers, but here she is. Again, this time with a yellow bow in her hair. A little pulpy, but I love the script. Well, that's deliberate. Thank you. Especially since I wrote it. And Brianna. Brianna and I wrote it. And he actually hurt himself when he whacked that sign this time. So he went on with it. We got it, and we used that clip, but yeah, he whacked it pretty hard. This is another one of my cameos, looking rather sketchy back there in the yellow hat. What exactly is going on back there? But that's me.
You want some cereal?
No.
How about some eggs instead?
No.
Who just drops the eggs onto the table? Mom's getting pretty desperate right there.
No. No! Get that away from me!
We really wanted to be able to cut back to Mom's reaction right there, because it does seem like we should have Mom's reaction. But in the space, the way that everything was being filmed, Brennan wasn't able to make that switch happen the way they wanted to. So Mom's reaction there got dropped, and we just followed Mike out of the kitchen there.
1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, yellow fish.
I can see some little kid writing, just drawing that for whatever reason, maybe not even knowing the rhyme. But of course, it has great significance here. This one right here, this is the, what's the name of this episode? The Yellow Paranoia. Lots of people thought this was one of the best episodes of season 1.
Hey, Mickey.
And here's Brennan. So this is one of his only times on camera on many of the things that we've done, even though Brennan has been a big part of what we've been doing here at Ravenkeep, because Brennan is our director of photography. So he's operating the camera. He did a lot. Of course, he did a lot of editing as well. So Brennan also worked on sound. So Brennan does a lot of behind the scenes work, and he works in the videography industry professionally today. So I forget who was operating the camera right here. Oh, actually, I think it was Dax, because Dax wanted to learn more about camera operation. So in this little scene, we had Dax operating the camera, and then that was what allowed Brennan to get on screen as the tennis player here. Got a question here. The last part is supposed to be bluefish, so maybe something creepy is going on after all. Yeah, it could be, because it doesn't make sense, right? So that's Brennan, and that is Megan's husband. So, Megan is on screen. You see Megan on Dinner and a Board Game and things like that. So they weren't married at this time, and still weren't married when we shot season 2. But just about a year ago, Megan and Brennan got married.
Toss that back.
He's got a yellow net here on his racket. I heard that the tennis ball part was controversial because people were actually what color tennis balls are. I was told is controversial depending on what color you really see them, because I actually thought that I see the tennis ball as yellow. So he gets the yellow, and then he also has the yellow racket. But if you don't see tennis balls as yellow, well, he's got the yellow racket, so it all works. And I think some hippie probably put this up in the park. This is a good sign. Seems like something that a hippie would do.
No, it's not. Fast time.
It would also be funny if that became associated with the yellow sign in culture. Like, this is a good sign. Nope, not.
Bad sign.
For the last 3 days, I've been tormented by the color yellow. Who knew there were so many yellow things in this world?
Oh, blown away.
I think so. I heard something there. Might have been from the convention.
Their cult has gotten into everything.
Mike is right. They are after us. So I've called an emergency cultist meeting to deal with the issue.
Where's Dave?
I don't know. I told him to be here.
Just gonna have to start without him. It's getting bad, guys.
Yeah, their cult is everywhere.
Where are they coming from?
We were the cult of the Yellow King. Where would we meet?
There.
It's kind of like, where's Waldo or something like that? Like, where would you meet if you were cult as the Yellow King? The yellow bench, of course. What kind of, that's just the way that they think. We integrated this into the plot and the script when we were casing this park for potential use of as the park on the show. And then there was that yellow bench. And so when we saw the yellow bench, we were like, okay, we're going to integrate that into the scripts, because the scripts weren't completely finalized when we were doing scouting locations and things like that. So the yellow bench got integrated into the script in this way. And then also that bird feeder, when we saw that, we were like, this looks like something that they would perform a ritual around. So the bird feeder also got integrated.
You two, stay here and stake out that bench. We need to know everything that happens there.
How do we do that?
I don't know, just being conspicuous.
Where are you going?
To get Shane a Cantha. We need backup.
And a lot of this was improvised. We just came up with a whole bunch of weird stuff that they could be doing around this bench to try to stake it out, kind of there on the spot, including this kind of Scooby-Doo lean here. I don't remember who came up with that, but we thought, oh, we got to have the Scooby-Doo lean.
It moved.
I don't think Ben completely understands. That was also completely Glenn's idea. Glenn was like, well, what would we be doing if we're getting bored sitting around here at this bench? Well, we could whack it if it's evil. And I don't think that Dax knew he was going to do that. And he almost just completely cracks up right then. And I also like, well, now we're bored. Like, this has been a while. Now let's just lay on the yellow bench. You know, this is not fun.
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. I haven't practiced, kinda took a while.
Poor Dave. He doesn't know what's going on. Finally arrives, and then, well, what does he get into? Get himself into. There. Oh yeah, there is. So there's an after credit scene here.
Cultist. I love Dagon. He's the best.
Dagon is Dagon. It's Dagon and he rocks.
That's our nod to the different potential pronunciations of Dagon right there. And this was also a completely ad-libbed kind of thing. It's why we added in here as the deleted scene at the end, because we needed, or did we need? I don't think we actually had in the script showing Dave getting tied up, because when he arrives at the next episode, well, he's already tied to this tree. But we decided, let's go ahead and let people improv this. So this was an improv scene of him getting tied up, and this is kind of what they came up with.
Say his name. I think it's just down to interpretation, honestly,
Okay,
fellas. Like, is
Dave.
that what you're mad about?
Okay.
I can call him Dagon.
The yellow did this to you. The yellow did this to you.
I
Dave.
didn't do anything.
I know the
yellow
king did it to you.
Well, get the yellow off of me then.
I am trying.
Trying to get out of that.
Yeah.
Can you at
He's
least
ready.
fix my hair?
I love the "Can you fix my hair?" That was perfect. All right. Well, so that is kind of a behind the scenes look at episode 6 of season 1. I do really like that episode. That episode came out really well. And it was so cold that day, because this is the day that we are going to get him exercised with the water. And it was freezing outside. We almost didn't do it. I almost decided that we were going to call it as the producer, but Sky really wanted to go ahead and do it, so we did it. We'll talk about that, though, when we talk about the next one. All right, so that's getting a lot of things accomplished that we are wanted to get accomplished today. And I think we're a little bit right on time here. So I think we should probably go ahead and take a look at how to improve our lives and plan the rest of our day. I know I want to do this. I want to talk about the big rocks method here. So I don't think this is going to take a lot of time, because I'm still working on how exactly I articulate some type of system for people who are looking for some kind of system or don't have a system to plan their day with and make their day more productive. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to look at what we can do today in order to, when we come back tonight, a wind down tonight. And so if you're here with us on the live stream, we're trying to plan our day. And so we know what will happen in the day over the next about 12 hours for what, if we did those things, that we would be able to reflect during the wind down tonight in about 12 hours, which is a live show here, and say, did we do those things? Yes. Okay. It was a great day. So let's go over here to the intro.
I manage my department, and I've been doing that for several years now.
Your department's just you, right?
Yes, Jim, but I am not easy to manage.
Did that work? Did you see that? Let's see here. Oh, you know what? Sometimes when if there's a little bit of lag in the screen, it's because something starts syncing. One of the reasons I was like, why is it that every time I start one of these streams, sometimes in the mornings, sometimes I've got a little bit of disruption as far as the pixelation, as far as the video goes? Well, it's because if I've been working, I might be syncing things on Dropbox. So I realized, so I'll always make sure that Dropbox isn't syncing before I start to pause that. Okay, so here's what we're going to be talking about here, and this is going to improve your life. This is a very simple thing we can do here at the end of the day. I'm going to take an index card, but you know what? You could use a sheet of paper, just tear a little sheet of paper in half, or take a little square of paper. Actually, being a small square of paper is an important part of this. You could use your phone. You can always take notes in your phone, but you know what? It seems like when you go to your phone, you can get drawn into other apps or social media and all of that. So it might be a good idea to stay away from your phone. But your phone, if it's working for you, then go ahead and use your phone. We're going to call this Big Rocks. And I'm going to fold this in half because I don't want a big sheet. A small sheet is important here because I'm going to write on it Big Rocks. This is what we'll talk about today. We've also been talking about time management. But like I said, I'm trying to figure out how exactly to articulate this if you don't have a system in order to have a better day. And I think this is the easiest way that I can explain it and the easiest thing that we can possibly do. Let me bring this down. Does that help? Big Rocks. You only get 3. So this, you don't have to worry about time management if you're kind of new to trying to have a better and more productive day. So Big Rocks, you get the 3 things that if you did them today, that you would go, hey, this was a great day. And that's why we don't want a giant sheet of paper because we're only focused on 3, right? Okay. So we're going to write down 3 things. Most of the time I found these have to do with work, or often these are things that would improve your efficiency in other areas of life. But for some reason you haven't done them yet. Like for instance, you don't know how to do them. I've been trying to work with some type of a new email system for a Ravenkeep, but I don't know how to hook that up. And so guess what? It wasn't getting done. So one of my big rocks is to set up new email, because that's going to take time for me to sit there and look at. And my existing system is working, but it's not very efficient. So if I did that, though, I'd be able to be more efficient for the rest of those days, the rest of the days to come, and I would get this off of my plate. It is the weekend. So one thing I'm trying to do is focus on less business style work on at least one day out of the weekend in order to make sure that I've got stuff going on around the house in order to facilitate productivity for the rest of the week. So you know what I really need to do? I need to wash clothes. I need to wash clothes and get them all put away. And then also, I really need to go down and, like I was talking about running the heater here in the office, I really want to get like a kerosene heater or other oil heater or whatever for the winter. I've been meaning to do that. So get heater, and actually at the exact same place, I can get fire bricks to build a grill outside. And I really want to build a grill because I want to be able to cook, on the afternoon adventures I've been doing, I want to be able to cook lunch, go out, but I want to do that outside, try to get a fire started and cook lunch. So actually this is get heater and fire bricks, but really this is the same place. This is like hardware store. So I need to drive down there. If I did those 3 things, I'd be able to do my afternoon adventures by having a grill, which I've been trying to get a grill here for a long time. I would have the heater, which I need. My clothes would be ready. And then also from the business side of things, I would set up a new email. I think this is probably the easiest system that I can think of for having a great day, because we can do all kinds of prioritization. We can have long lists of to-do lists. I've got like 300 things in my to-do list. But rather than sitting down with all that, I bet everyone right now could take a half of an index card and say, just think while we're breathing here, breathe, and take a sip of your favorite beverage. And you take 2 minutes and say, really, what is it that I really need to get done? Because I bet you know. And don't have to spend 30 minutes thinking about it. These are the things that would help, that would cause me to have a great day and enhance my life. And this is another reason to not do it on the computer or on your phone, because your phone will let you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way down the list. You can start putting in as many as you possibly can think of. But we're trying to constrain this. If you complete one, well, then scratch it off. You can also take this with you, and you don't have to open up your phone and get drawn into it. If you complete those things, then go to number 4. Then if you've got enough time, you think, what would my next thing be? Then do a number 4. And if you get that done, then try to do a number 5. But one of the key things is that at the evening, not the evening grind anymore, the wind down tonight, if you're looking at your card and you have accomplished those 3 things, then we go, oh, it was a good day. It was a good day. I did what I actually really needed to do. So that is a very simple method here. Oh, okay. So I think the Dropbox started, so I got that taken care of. All right. Well, that is, I think, everything we need to do this morning. I really appreciate your being here, and if you're watching this on a repeat, please like, comment. I will see it. I'd love to hear what you have to say about these things. Go be productive. Do your index card worth of stuff today. Enjoy yourself. Work on deliberate recreation. Also do some core creative time. And then I will see you back here in the evening for the wind down.